Kafka has unlocked a brand new Thunder God power. He saved the nation and landed the final blow to Kaiju No. 9. Or has he? Chapter 112 of Kaiju No. 8 has revealed the true nature of Kafka's little guy and why it possibly chose him. But that's not all, because he's seconds away from losing everything. In order to understand all these insane revelations, let's rewind back to Kafka entering Berserk. He learned to control this mode via special secret training with Narumi. It's the same form the little guy used against General Isao, outclassing the strongest soldier that assimilated with Kaiju No. 2 to perfection. This crazy power-up can potentially reach a fortitude of 10 and break Kafka's own record of 9.8. Before, when the little guy was controlling this form in the bunker that can withstand 10 or higher, it almost got destroyed. But 100 chapters later, Kafka has leveled up multiple times over with training. I mean, just look at this attack. Nobody else can do this. This battle also includes the title of the strongest, and Kafka is about to attain it. However, there's a problem. Narumi knew that this form was so powerful that he told Kafka he better watch it, because if he even dares to go straight to captain rank, Narumi's gonna have words. That being said, using this form is a huge risk. Don't forget that the more Kafka uses his kaiju form, the more permanent it becomes. For example, following the battle against Kaiju No. 9 in chapter 54, Kafka's kaijufication continued to progress rapidly, meaning one of his hands never went back to human. And with Kafka now unleashing the true beast within, there's a dangerous chance that he may never return. Once the 60-second time limit is finished, he will start sinking into the abyss, just like in chapter 37, where his consciousness will be eaten by the little guy, losing his humanity, which he oh so desperately wants to prove to the world, just like he promised he would do to the general. I mean, if this does happen, I have no idea how it's gonna work between him and Mina, because like, is she just gonna get freaky with the kaiju? I know I can't match that freak, but hey, it's a risk he's willing to take, as Kafka locks in, prepares for battle, and says,
"You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here."
Thus, Kafka has 1 minute to use this form before he loses control, meaning it would be harder than before to break out of Berserk if he fails to stay within the time limit. And so he tells Mina to hurry up and back him. Their childhood promise to fight kaiju together is fulfilled, but if the gamble doesn't work, she's pretty much gonna have to admit she loves him to bring him back. I'm just saying.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
However, as of right now, Mina realizes it's time for her to play the support role in their relationship and help Kafka's resolve. From the beginning of the series, it's been foreshadowed that these two would fight together as equals, with Kafka as captain and Mina as vice captain of the Kafka Corps. And so it's in that moment that Kaiju No. 8 wastes no time in charging headfirst for 9, with their clash sending shockwaves throughout the entire city. Remember, we learned in chapter 106 that just them using basic ass punches exposed how fragile civilization was and put everything at risk of total annihilation. However, whilst they brawled, Mina began cooking up a plan. She was to provide covering fire and sneakily lead No. 9 to No. 14's drop point. Remember, this kaiju was 9's Uber, as it was able to act as a teleportation portal. Thus, their battle went on tour as they jumped from building to building. Mina wasn't the only one cooking though, as Kafka revealed he also had 2 more secret techniques left in reserve. Throughout this fight, he's learned a plethora of new skills to surprise Kaiju No. 9 with. This is because 9 is like a virus that adapts to anything, and so the only way to defeat him is by hitting him with something before he can adapt and copy the technique for himself. He's basically Mahoraga. However, No. 9 learns something very interesting when he clashes fists with Kafka the next time. He goes on a little trip down memory lane and begins piecing together the puzzle of who exactly Kaiju No. 8 really is. Firstly, the destructive power against kaiju and the annoying force which can cripple kaiju regeneration. These are traits built for kaiju meant for killing other kaiju. Remember, back in chapter 35, when General Isao activated Kaiju No. 2's weapon, the little guy inside of Kafka started tweaking, shouting about how he wanted to kill. This makes sense as it's now 100% clear that No. 8's mission is to fight and kill all the other kaiju. This is why No. 9 says, "You were that sort of being all along." wrong. The question is, what sort of being, and why does 8 have such a hate boner for the other kaiju? Well, we can use clues from the author and the story to try and piece this puzzle together ourselves and make sense of it all, starting with where the kaiju come from. Number 9's goal is to take over the world entirely and combine humanity with kaiju just to see what would happen. His obsession and curiosity with Earth and humans implies that it's something new to him. There's also the fact that the kaiju scaling system is based upon the tsunami danger ratings. Plus there's the fact that when kaiju emerge, we've seen that tsunamis often follow afterwards. In fact, tsunamis are so common with kaiju attacks that the city literally needs to be told when there isn't one. But no, seriously, who the hell is living in that city? I mean, rent must be insanely low.
This is a hazard! Robert, that's close! It ain't! Look, I've been here for like 2 years, man. Relax. I've been here. How much do you pay for rent here? Like $18 a month? Why?
Anyway, this brings me onto a comment made by Naoya Matsumoto, the author of Kaiju No. 8. You see, one of his biggest inspirations for the series was in fact Pacific Rim. In the lore of that series, giant kaiju arrive on Earth through breaches deep under the ocean, which act as kind of portals connecting their world to the humans. In fact, this is common in more or less any kaiju media. Monsterverse, Hollow Earth. The Meg, a thick layer of gas locked off in a known area of the Mariana Trench capable of keeping large, thought to be extinct monsters alive, which said monsters could breach. And by the way, if you want to hear us talk more about movies like this, then you should probably check out our other channel, Movie Balls Deep. But anyway, why is this important? Well, chapter 58 revealed how number 9's domain is hidden deep underwater between the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate. Between those places are the Philippine Trench, the East Luzon Trench, and the Manila Trench. All three are places where one tectonic plate is subdued beneath another. It's stated in the manga that studies in recent years gave evidence that the immense energy and strain produced by the faults in the earth act upon underground substances and nearby plants and animals to produce kaiju. Faults are like big cracks in the Earth's surface where two pieces of the ground move past each other. When this happens deep underground, it can cause an earthquake and or tsunamis. Thus it could be that the Defense Corps' work in theory isn't entirely correct, and it's not plants and animals being turned into kaiju, but rather these faults present the opening in the earth for the kaiju to come through. Nonetheless, how is this linked to the little guy working with humans? After all, it's a total phenomena, as no other naturally occurring kaiju has been seen to do this before, as the only other one we've seen choose to do this was number 10, but he was merely a failed creation by 9. Well, in chapter 66, Kafka saw a glimpse of an old ancient host of number 8, just like how Kikaru saw a glimpse of her mother, a previous host for Kaiju No. 4's weapon. This parallels Kaiju No. 9 and highlights the differences between them, which all stem from the ancient Kaiju Civil War. Yep. You heard that right. Chapter 104 revealed that 9 had been gobbling up all the most powerful humans and kaiju throughout the different eras. Mina confirmed there were hundreds and hundreds of them consciously living inside of number 9 in despair, with all their powers being utilized by him. However, to contrast this is Kaiju No. 8 and Kafka. The villain wants to use the power of others like Isao and Mina, whilst Kafka wants to work with others side by side. I believe this is where the Kaiju War stemmed from. When the tectonic plates shifted to create the Manila Trench some 20 million years ago, it opened up Earth to the Kaiju. Unsurprisingly, the potential for a tsunami event originating along the Manila Trench has been forecasted in fact. The earthquake causing this event has been predicted to be the magnitude of 9.35, so it all makes too much sense linking with the story of Kaiju No. 8. However, before the Kaiju knew it, humanity had made Earth their own, angering Kaiju like 9 who wanted that land and power for themselves, whilst the kind of beings like 8 instead preferred to live alongside the humans. Because you see, without a host, this little guy is a total weakling. This is why it went searching for a specific host that it could assimilate with over the course of the past 1,000 plus years. One of them was even confirmed to be an ancestor of Soshiro. This search for a compatible human is also why when Kaiju No. 8 found Kafka, he literally said, "Found you." It's also why Kafka has zero combat suitability with the bioweapons that the military have made, because automatically he's rejecting other Kaiju cells due to his pre-established connection to 8. This generational war, however, has ultimately come down to the next 20 seconds, as that's all Kafka has left before he loses control power of his berserk form. Nonetheless, they've reached the destroyed body of number 14, where Kafka unleashes his variant number 5, modified spiral hit, which destroys number 9's arms. At the same time, Mina retrieves her main weapon from 14, which still has one magazine left. The blast is powerful enough to break through 9's shield and shatter his core, which is automatically one of the craziest feats in the series. Despite this, it's no use, as 9 has access to another shield thanks to combining it with number 2, and by the time Kafka lands his next attack, his previous shield will have also regenerated, and so 9 pulls out the "nah, I'd win" as Kafka charges up his final attack. But out of nowhere, Isao reminds Kaiju number 9 that he is not him.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
That's right, he proves why he's the strongest soldier in Defense Force history, as he overpowers number 2 and subdues its power within 9's consciousness. Remember, 9 is a hive mind organism with everything inside connecting to his consciousness. It's how he has access to everyone's memories and techniques. That being said, he never had anyone as built different as the general inside him, as despite hitting his limits in their previous battle, to which Isao lost, he's since rested up and fought back from within, ready for round 2. He was waiting for this exact moment to reenact his heroism and use his remaining strength to help Kafka. It's also poetic that he's helping Kafka whilst he's in his berserk kaiju form, as it proves to the general that he truly is human. You see, during their first meeting, Isao shot Kafka, which did nothing, proving he wasn't human, as any life form that could stop bullets with bare skin could never be considered that. Thus, in Isao's eyes back then, Kafka was simply a monster to be neutralized. However, my man was stubborn enough to reclaim his humanity, causing Isao to order him to die in his human form. But this could prove to be a bit difficult as time is running out. Regardless, this is huge because thanks to Isao subduing Kaiju number 2, it means 9 can no longer use its shield to protect his core, leaving him wide open and ready for death. Because even though he tried to protect himself with a big ass meat shield, it's no use, as Mina blasts it away, allowing Kafka to land his final secret technique. Variant number 6, God of Thunder. Even number 9 was looking at this thinking,
Fair play.
this is because Kafka has proved that humans are way beyond his expectations. And this is thanks to what number 8 has been fighting for: harmony, living together. What I'm trying to say is, this is the power of friendship, motherfucker.
So true.
Nonetheless, it's enough for Kafka to connect with the core and presumably destroy it. The question is though, is 9 dead? And also, what happens to Kafka? Because I'd put my bottom dollar on those 20 seconds I mentioned being up right around now. Also, we've got to remember something very important regarding Kaiju number 9. He's not your typical kaiju. He's a hive mind and has been likened to a virus. We also know he's capable of duplicating himself as well. Considering he's a genius chess master that's been fighting for thousands if not more years, he will surely have been prepared for the unlikely event in which he was killed. There's also the endless amount of questions yet to be answered in the story, such as what we discussed regarding the origins of the kaiju and why they're doing what it is they're doing. But hey, whilst we wait for that, you can watch this video on your screen right now. Trust me, it's a pretty good one.